Hi everyone, welcome to Talsal Recipe. Today I'm making a warm and comforting one-pot chicken and rice. Simple, cozy, and full of flavor. Let's get started. I place the chicken on the board and sprinkle it generously with black pepper. This simple seasoning is the first step to bringing out the rich flavor in our dish. Sprinkle in some salt, just enough to bring out the natural flavor of the chicken. I flip the chicken to the other side, then sprinkle over a bit more black pepper for extra flavor. Then I sprinkle the chicken with Italian seasoning, chicken masala, curry powder, paprika, garlic powder, and a touch of turmeric for extra color and warmth. I take my time to rub the seasoning into the chicken, making sure every part is coated evenly. I flip it back and forth so both sides get a good layer of flavor. This step is worth doing slowly because the spices really sink in, helping the chicken cook tender, juicy, and beautifully seasoned all the way through. Now I take a pot and add a little bit of oil, just enough to coat the bottom. Once it warms up, I add a small piece of butter. The oil helps the butter melt slowly without burning, and together they create a rich base that gives the chicken a beautiful golden color and a deeper flavor. I gently place the chicken into the pot, laying each piece down so it touches the hot butter and oil. The moment it hits the pan, you can hear that soft sizzle. That's exactly what we want. I make sure not to overcrowd the pan. After cooking for a few minutes, can brown properly. I flip the chicken to the other side. This step builds by now it has started to develop that beautiful golden color that makes the whole dish taste and flipping rich it and delicious. The other side brown just as nicely. Take your time here. This slow sear is what gives the chicken so much flavor. Once the other side turns beautifully golden, I go ahead and remove the chicken from the pot. At this point, it doesn't need to be fully cooked. We just want that rich, golden sear on both sides. Taking it out now keeps it juicy and gives us space to build even more flavor in the pot with the onions and rice. That golden color is going to make the whole dish taste incredible later. Next, I finely chop the garlic so it melts into the dish and adds a deep, aromatic flavor. Now I add the chopped garlic into the same pot. I love cooking it in the leftover butter and chicken drippings because it instantly releases that rich, warm aroma and helps build the flavor base for the whole dish. Now I'm chopping 2 medium onions into small pieces. I like to keep them roughly the same size so they cook evenly and melt nicely into the dish. Once they're ready, I add them straight into the same pot with the garlic. The onions pick up all the flavor left from the chicken. And this is where the base of the dish starts to become rich, warm, and incredibly aromatic. Now I'm chopping 2 medium fresh tomatoes. I like to cut them into small, even pieces so they break down nicely and blend into the dish. Fresh tomatoes add a natural sweetness and a beautiful color, and they give the rice a richer, deeper flavor as it cooks. Now I add the chopped red pepper. Then I add the chopped tomatoes into the pot. As soon as they hit the heat, they start to soften and release their juices. I give them a gentle stir so they mix with the onions and garlic, creating a rich, flavorful base that will make the chicken and rice taste even better. Now I add a little salt. And here's a small cooking secret: adding salt directly to tomatoes helps them break down faster and release their juices. It softens them quickly and brings out their natural sweetness, which makes the base of the dish richer and more flavorful. Now I add my spices, the same blend I used earlier for the chicken, but this time I add just a small amount. We don't want to overpower the dish. We just want to boost the flavor and bring everything together. A light sprinkle goes a long way here because the chicken is already seasoned beautifully. Let's take a moment to get to know each other. I would love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments which country you're watching from. It's always so exciting to see viewers from all around the world. Now I give everything a good mix. I add in some freshly chopped parsley. Now I add the washed rice into the pot. I always rinse the rice first because it removes the extra starch and helps it cook light and fluffy. I sprinkle it in evenly over the vegetables and give it a moment to settle. This step will help the rice absorb all that flavor we've been building. I don't add any water right away. I let the rice cook for a few minutes with the vegetables and spices until it becomes a little dry. This step is really important. It helps the rice absorb the flavors first and keeps it from turning soggy later. Allowing the rice to toast like this makes the final dish much lighter, fluffier, and more flavorful. Now I add the chopped green onion. It adds a fresh, bright flavor to the pot and balances the warm spices beautifully. I sprinkle it in at this stage so it softens slightly but still keeps its color and freshness, giving the dish a lovely lift. Now I pour in the boiled water. If you have chicken broth, you can use that instead. It gives the dish an even deeper, richer flavor. Using hot water keeps the cooking process steady and helps the rice cook evenly. I add just enough liquid to cover everything so the rice becomes soft, fluffy, and full of the flavors we've built in the pot. Place the chicken back on top of the rice. I gently set each piece in so the juices can drip down and flavor the whole pot as it cooks. Putting the chicken on top like this keeps it tender and lets the rice absorb all that amazing flavor. Everything is coming together beautifully at this stage. Pour in the remaining sauce and juices left on the plate from the chicken. Don't skip this part. These little drippings are full of flavor and they make the rice taste even richer. After the rice has been cooking for a while, you'll notice the water starts to go down and the rice begins to absorb all the liquid. At this stage, I lower the heat and let it cook slowly. Giving it more time on low heat makes a huge difference. It allows the rice to soften gently, absorb all the flavor, and become richer and tastier. Slow cooking here is the secret to getting perfect, fluffy, flavorful rice. Enjoyed this video? Please subscribe to the channel for more delicious recipes.